I will try to define narcissism. So there are three factors. There are three factors to become a narcissist, and the first is delusion. The second is self-centered thought, and the third is a kind of egoism relating to some kind of oneself. Of course, those three factors can be said focusing on oneself, but so there are the narcissism are diverse and depending on each individual, and I was honestly, I was a kind of narcissist. But I'm not a kind of a narcissist looking at the mirror and believing oneself beautiful or cool guy. But I had strong egoism. I had strong self-centered thought. And in this mean, I was a kind of narcissist. So there are three factors to become a narcissist, and delusion, self-centered thought, and egoism. And of course, self-centered thought is kind of egoism. And so the source of this thought is egoism. So egoism impact other two factors, and so I remember myself immersing into my delusion, and I believed myself as a kind of great artist, great artist having great generosity, great kindness, and great charismatic atmosphere, and so but of course, and this is kind of illusion, not reality. In real world, I am just a normal. I am just a normal Japanese, having no career, having no job, and having no specific ability, and I am just a normal or low ability Japanese guy. But in my image, I am strong. I am charismatic. I am a kind of attractive guy, and where do those illusions come from? So of course, those illusions comes from my mind, my imagination, and so I could not go out from my mind. I was packed into my mind, packed in my head, and I was always living in my head, in my imagination, and could not recognize beautiful world, could not recognize outside world, outside my head, and when I immersed myself into my image, I cannot realize flower, trees, or plants blossom. I cannot realize those beautiful things. But instead, I immersed myself into my strong delusion. And my strong delusion satisfies me, and my dopamine circulated, and my dopamine makes me so excited, and the excitement feels so good. I always felt so good, and Of course, those things unhealthy. And but I'm now in relatively steady condition, and I have very good-minded, and because of my consistent training in mindfulness, and those three factors: delusion, self-centered thought, egoism. But I can say those three factors just an illusion. Those three factors don't exist in real world. So my delusion kind of so I'm a great artist, and I always imagine kind of handsome guy. I always imagine kind of great talented man like Fitzgerald, James Joyce, or Hemingway, and I respect them, and I compared myself to the great artist, and I believed myself the most greater artist in this world. But of course, nobody care about me. So very funny. So but it is typical my delusion and the self-centered thought. Of course, it is illusion. I focus on myself. And I focus on myself, and I sometimes meet someone, but I often make them uncomfortable because I was always talking about myself. I was always introducing myself, and don't care about others. And so people feel so strange with me because I was always talking about myself. This is a kind of symptom of self-centered man. Self-centered man tended to talk about himself, but you might feel uncomfortable or strangeness with him because you want to be listened your story, but he don't care about you because he immersed himself into their image, his thoughts. So, and he cannot communicate with others. So I was a kind of man, and egoism is very simple. Egoism is just attaching oneself, not only focusing on oneself, but strongly attaching oneself. So I attached myself, and because I loved myself, I believed myself as a good one, and I compared myself to others, and I have strong confidence, because I am a good artist, great artist in my head, and those phenomena is typically attachment to oneself, and of course attachment itself is illusion, kind of delusion, and so without delusion you cannot attach yourself. Without illusion you cannot attach yourself, because in reality you have no value to attach yourself, because we are just dust, we are just impermanence. Everything has been changing. We are all changing, and so we cannot stop ourselves in good condition. So we are all ugly. We are all strange. We are all stinking. So if you don't take a bath for 3 weeks, probably you are so stinking. So we are all dirty, we are all stinking, so we are all dirty and ugly. But when we attach to ourselves, we are not kind of a dirty man, stinking man. We are not ugly. But those factors just illusion, because in reality we are all ugly. So, and of course, attachment is not necessarily kind of beautiful. So attaching oneself is not necessarily kind of believing in beautiful oneself, because believing oneself as an ugly man can be also attachment and narcissism. And this is very complex and difficult thing. And but both believing beautiful oneself or believing too dirty oneself are just delusion, illusion. So in reality, we are. In reality, we just as we are. So we are just suchness. So I learned from those suchness from mindfulness practice, and of course delusion, seeing illusion, strong imagination, just a symptom from schizophrenia. So we all have schizophrenia. If you immerse yourself into your delusion, so how do you see your symptom? So if those things are just illusion, we just stop produce our illusion or delusion. We stop. When we stop our illusion, we are here and now. So, but it is very simple. It is very simple mathematics, and so we can do this. But of course, mindfulness practice take a lot of time, and we need to spend much time to train ourselves, because we have strong tendency to absorb our imagination and run away from reality and get into ourselves. So we have to adjust our tendency. We have to adjust our brain function through mindfulness practice. And in mindfulness practice, we just focusing on our breathing. But our breathing is just a phenomenon, always changing. Our breathing is not our egoism. Our breathing is not our self-centered thought. Our breathing is not delusion, illusion. Our breathing is just air. And there is no boundary between subjectivity, objectivity, because air. So air come from outside of our body, and we inhale air and exhale. So always circle. There's no egoism, and we communicate with world through breathing. So there's no ego, but everything are moving, everything are changing, everything is shifting. And we feel that. So there is no delusion, just reality. In this reality, we can be free from our strong attachment. So we cannot completely detach from our attachment, but we can ease our strong attachment through observing our breathing. In our breathing, there's no attachment, and we can learn a lot from our breathing. So, and breathing is already implemented our body. So we already breath. That we afford to observe our breathing because we are always breathing. So this is my idea, and so today I will discuss about how to overcome our narcissism. And the mindfulness practice is crucial to achieve this goal. Thank you for watching.